تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
My big fat Muslim wedding, taught by Imran bin Mansoor, aka Dawah Man. In this course you will learn about intimacy. Okay, you're going to learn about intimacy. Dawah Man is going to teach you about intimacy. Okay, no problem. And the wedding night, the wedding party, walima, the marriage contract, and more. Now, don't you think that's the job of a faqih? The one that's learnt about the rulings when it comes to intimacy. Like, there's no shyness in Islam. Yeah, there's limits, but there's no shyness. You could speak about this matter. But he's going to be teaching about intimacy and the wedding night. Like, intimacy. Like, who are you to teach about intimacy, mate? Like, where have you got this courage from? How dare you even approach or volunteer yourself to be teaching such matters about intimacy and the wedding night and the marriage contract? Like, what, you're going to go to the books of fiqh? Are you going to be teaching about the aqd? Are you going to be teaching about the rulings about nikah? And akhi, who are you, bro? Like, who the hell are you? Now, to the parent ustad, are you giving him legitimacy to teach these courses? You've allowed him and given him the green light to teach these courses? Like, la ilaha illallah, ittaqillah. Honestly, what are you playing at? What kind of joke is this? Wedding night and intimacy. Ibn al-Qayyim said that women shouldn't be on the top. Are you going to be teaching people that?
But what about positions that might be more recommended than others? Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah discussed this issue. Some positions that might be more recommended than others. He mentioned that the woman on top is something that's not good. It shouldn't happen. And he had a nice reasoning behind it. And I think it's worth mentioning it, considering the day and age that we live. He said the woman on top position, it makes the man basically behave like a woman. As in, it puts the man in the woman's position. It puts the man in the woman's position because generally speaking, the man is the one who in intimacy is the one who is in control, right? Whether the man approaches from the back or the man approaches from the front. But if the woman is on top, then what this does is it puts the woman in more of a dominating position, okay? Now, what this can encourage is femininity in a man. And that's the problem that Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah had. He's not saying it's haram, pay attention. It's not haram for a woman to be up on the top position with her husband. It's not haram. But he's saying it's something that we should keep in mind, that it's something that encourages femininity. It causes the man to be in the position of the woman. And sadly, we've seen how this is perverse, how perverted this has become, because now men have actually gone to engage in practices where they're not just in the woman's position, but then they're actually being treated like a woman, where they will ask their wife to actually penetrate them. This is sadly a very, very, very vulgar thing that happens, where a man will be penetrated by his own wife. And that's the thing, you see. A person might have his, that particular position, not think anything of it, but that's how shaitan plays with you. Like, that's how perversion happens. Do you see? So generally speaking, it's not haram for a woman to be on top, but just bear in mind that there are some things that are taking place. Like, where does this practice originate from? Where can this lead to? Sexual perversion is a thing that very quickly escalates.
Are you going to be teaching people about sexual positions and what's allowed and what's not allowed? And even then, it's not a problem for a woman to be on top. But you're going to be teaching your bloody. Imagine someone taking his course and he's writing notes, and Dawah Man says, Ustad Dawah Man, the doctor in, sexual matters, that, my students, on the wedding night, I know you're going to be very excited. I know it's going to be, you're going to be very nervous because it's your first night with your wife. You want to impress and you want to obviously show that you're a man, you're a rajula. but I'll have to give you some practical tips: what's permissible and what's not permissible, what's makruh, what's mubah, what's mustahab, etc., etc. Giving these, nice terminologies to the potential grooms, and then they're writing this down, and then all the anticlimax, they're getting happy, they're learning all this information from Ustad Dawah Man about intimacy on the first night with your beloved wife, and then all of a sudden Dawah Man, in the center of the class says, "Okay, then brothers, but you shouldn't perform sex with your wife while she's on top." I feel sorry for those people who took that course, honestly. I'll be crying. I'll be literally in tears if Dawah Man was my Ustad telling me this stuff. La ilaha illallah. I gotta add a bit of comedy into this. On top of him being, Dr. Phil and Oprah and Jeremy Kyle and Jerry Springer, he's teaching you about the intimacy, about intimacy on the first night. Even prior to that, okay, he is the ambassador for a certain marriage matrimonial site. Now, I don't want to give them any clout because they don't pay me, they pay him. But he's one of the ambassadors for this marriage matrimonial site. I feel sorry for these potential brides and grooms, honestly. Wallah. You know what Dawah Man is, on top of being, the master of intimacy and, ruqya and talking about iman or kufr, subhanallah. Guess what else Dawah Man dabbles into? Okay, look on screen. Dawah Man is a marriage coach. Can you believe that nonsense? Marriage coaching with Dawah Man. Look at him. Hi, sonny. This includes personal marriage meeting training. Help if you're confused about your profile or potential's profile. Given pre-marriage advice before, during, and after the meeting process, all the way into your nikah. Okay, Dawah Man. You're doing all that, eh? So imagine Dawah Man. Let's just put it this way. Imagine Dawah Man talking to a potential brother, okay, who's obviously, interested in his sister. So he approaches Dawah Man. God only knows why. Why would you want to approach him? You know what I mean? It's better off talking to your brick wall. So he comes to Dawah Man, and Dawah Man obviously picks up the phone or whatever. He's been in lockdown, so he can't come to him. So he phones Dawah Man. Dawah Man answers the phone and he says, "Assalamu alaikum." We've got to emphasize in the ayn zended in the tabdi'. So he goes, "Assalamu alaikum akhi, kayf halak, atamanna anta bi khair. I hope you are well. Indi su'al ya sheikh. I have a question, sheikh. I'm thinking about marrying his sister, Dawah Man, Ustad. And, I don't really know, whether she's the right one." So what's Dawah Man going to do? Dawah Man going to click on the profile. That's all the data that he needs. Okay, akhi, listen to me. Sisters, yeah. Sisters, akhi. Matting in the masjid. You've got to be very, very careful, akhi. This is a lifetime commitment. Don't rush it, akhi. You understand? Don't rush it, akhi. Be careful with the tongue.
Just moving your tongue against the ruler, the unjust ruler, is something enough to render you as a kharij.
And you have to be very, very smart. You've got your whole life ahead of you, akhi. What do you think, akhi? Just shut up!
You shut up! You shut up!
كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر وكم كرهت مصابها لكن رأيت الخير يسكب في أنا كم مرة قد ضقت من عظم البلاء بشر وشيطان يحاصرني أبا كم مرة قد أظلم الدرب ضحى وتحدر الدمع وضاقت بي رؤى كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر وكم كرهت